too hard or are you too lazy? That is what we are going to be talking about today, talking about the game Comix Zone. And this is one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis. It's one that's not technically too long to play. You can get through in about 20 to 25 minutes, but this game has been put on a pillar as too hard by a lot of gamers. Now, me personally, I will say that yes, it does pose difficulty, great difficulty rather, if you go in blind and you do not use a walkthrough. I could tell you as a child when I got this, it took me about 6 months before I finally figured out how to get through the game. When comparing it to some other games like say Donkey Kong Country or some other platformers that have a lot of timing mechanics into it and are a little bit longer in length, those types of games I consider to be a little bit more difficult than Comix Zone. Now, if the game itself was about double the length, maybe I would say, okay, Comix Zone is definitely difficult because by the time you're getting to the last level of the game, the difficulty does kind of go up a bit. And of course, with the age of the internet, we can go and look up walkthroughs to see what we actually need to do to beat this game. But if you want to go in organically and play it, like I said, of course, it is going to take a lot of patience to figure out where those hidden items are within each page of the levels. But if we were to go through using the walkthroughs, knowing where everything is, and then practicing just the timings as far as the jumps that we need to do and the fighting combinations that we need to do on specific enemies, you will soon find that the game itself really isn't that bad to traverse through. I would honestly say to this day that Ninja Gaiden, the first one for the NES, in my opinion, is way, way harder than what Comix Zone is. I can still play Ninja Gaiden and get all the way to the last level, but that last level typically gives me a lot of problems if I have not played it in a long time. Whereas Comix Zone, I can actually fire it up, and if maybe I play it for a few days, I'll get to the point where I breeze through the first couple levels, and then I just got to kind of remember how to traverse through the back end of the game, and then it's, again, a lot easier, in my opinion, than, say, Ninja Gaiden. And I just bring that one up because that one is on the too tough category, but I would actually say that game should be, and deservingly so, being in the too tough tier. So with that, I'm going to dub Comix Zone as You're Too Lazy to Beat Comix Zone. Zombies ate my neighbors. Is it too tough or are you too lazy? So I personally think that this one, in short, before we go into it, definitely deserves to be in the too tough category. Now, I just recently beat this myself organically without save states for the first time maybe a handful of months ago. I don't know if he's dead. I'm like scared to go up there. Is he dead? Oh, yeah! Yeah! Woo! You know it! Oh, God! And I would be lying if I did not say that I was extremely satisfied when I finally got through it, because this was a game that I had played off and on since I was a child, and I actually thought it was impossible to beat for the longest time. So I can honestly say that I never went through and looked at any walkthroughs or anything like that. The only thing I ever looked at on the Retro Achievement site was just how many levels did this game actually have, because I knew it was a lot, I just didn't know how many. And this is one of those games that if you really don't pay attention to patterns or the weaknesses with the enemies and stuff like that, you will find this game to be extremely difficult to play. Because throughout the game, most levels at the very least have zombies that keep on spawning in no matter what. You kill one, another one comes, and it's just an endless onslaught of enemies that you have to kill while you're trying to just traverse through the levels and save the neighbors. And just one funny way that this game kind of trolls players is it does have a password system built into it. However, if you enter a password, you start off with the squirt gun, so chances are you're going to die depending on what level you're trying to use a password on. So say you're trying to do the last level, more than likely you're gonna have one hell of a time trying to beat Dr. Tongue with just a squirt gun. Not saying it's not possible, I'm just saying it would be quite difficult for the novice player going into playing Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Now, am I saying that that means you need to throw in the towel and not play this game because it is dubbed as too hard? And I agree that it is one that is very difficult to play. No, not at all. Because again, if you would like to, you can go through, watch some walkthroughs to see some tricks and tips, and you can see some tricks and tips here once I upload the content. But I will be trying to help you guys in those regards on trying to traverse through certain games when I can. And if I don't have the content, you can find it somewhere else. But not only will I just dub this one as too hard, but I will also dub this one as too long, because to play it in one sitting, you're going to be sitting around for probably at the minimum 2.5 to about 3 hours to get through this game. But that is all I had for today's video, guys. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments below, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.